Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T.S. Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanchard aka Blanchie Kruger. And today's title is Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens, More Bread for the Circus. Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens, More Bread for the Circus. Right when Dr. Fauci is up there pleading the fifth, just like clockwork, here comes something to get people's minds off of how big a deal that is for Fauci to plead the fifth. If everything was on the up and up, you would be proud to tell the world the truth about everything involving mRNA technology. But the problem is that these people literally terrorized the planet, and now they want to act like it never happened. These people literally terrorized the planet, and now they act like it never happened. But anyway, I want to just spend a short time on this Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens debate. Like I said before, in the title, it's more bread for the circus. The biggest issue is 6 billion people putting mRNA technology in their body because governments told them to, because jobs told them to, because family and friends told them to, because Hollywood told them to, because athletes told them to. 6 billion people put mRNA in their body, and nobody wants to be held accountable. And so I noticed that they want you to focus on Charlie Kirk, Erikakirk, Israel, Iran, all that, but not the biggest event in our entire life, which was the Peter pandemic. That was the biggest event in our lifetime, possibly in history, because 6 billion people did something that was based in some things that weren't true. But now we're here, and we're here talking about Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson. I'm just going to play some clips. We're going to jump right into it. Hope you all are having a good evening. Hope you all are having a good evening.
Candace and her fans' reactions were volatile, to say the least. She issued a strange counter that I needed to pay her $500,000 and that TPUSA needed to, quote, claim me. Now, I don't work for TPUSA, so I couldn't grant that concession, as it would have been a lie. She followed with an offer of me paying $300,000 to debate her at her home on the topic of if Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk and if he was a federal patsy or not. Obviously, this gives massive advantages to Owens, but I'm never one to back down from a debate challenge, even if I think the terms are fundamentally unfair. We entered into negotiations, and during those negotiations, Joe Rogan contacted us both, asking to host our debate. This is perhaps something you guys don't know. Obviously, I thought that changed everything, as that would guarantee the biggest platform for both of us to make our case on neutral ground. Unsurprisingly to me, Candace Owens declined. No control, you see. She insisted it be at her home still, even after Rogan said he would come in on his off day to do the debate, and I would still give her the $300,000. You would think if she was actually trying to change the minds of normies and reach a new audience, that's where she would go, but sadly, no. After many rounds of negotiations and a new moderator stepping in who assures us it'll be fair, we came to an agreement. I went ahead and sent the $300,000, and it has been confirmed by her staff and to us that it has been sent. I am going to...
Now I want to ask you all a question. Why do you think Andrew Wilson wants to debate Candace Owens all of a sudden? And where did he get $300,000 from? Just think for a second. Just think about this. Who has $300,000 to waste on a debate with Candace Owens? How do you determine the winner? How? Is Patrick Bet Davis going to say that Candace Owens won? If Patrick Bet Davis say that Candace Owens won, he's going to be called anti-Semitic. So clearly, it's impossible to have a neutral judge in this situation. Joe Rogan is already skeptical of the entire thing. So I don't understand how he would even be a good moderator for this debate. But to determine a winner, how do we do it? How do you determine a winner? Think about it now. This man is putting up $300,000. Who determines who wins? Do you all trust? Let the public decide? Does anybody trust a system that allows the public to vote on who won? Today's title is Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owens, more bread for the circus. No, well, you know who gave him the money. It wasn't Joe Rogan. Because okay, let's just go to, let's see if we can get to, I have this link here, but I can't, for some reason, I don't want to log in, though. I just want to, guess I got to log in, y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Thought I'd be able to play it from the link. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Shoot, man, I'm just tripping. Okay, now. Okay. So out of the blue, Andrew Wilson wants to debate Candace Owens. And keep in mind, I like Andrew Wilson. But he said something, I'm going to get to it, that was very strange to say. It was an odd thing to say.
They just killed this guy in broad daylight.
Well, I think everybody was rattled.
These crazy leftists, right? Like, where's the push? Where's the energy? We wanted our war, right? Our verbal online war.
Do you think there's any possibility that someone else killed him? Do you think there's any possibility that he was assassinated by Israel?
Well, when we're talking about possibility, almost anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
But there's not good evidence to support it. And there's probably pretty good evidence not to. So for instance, the guy was still very much of a pro-Israel guy, even up to death. It is true that he was fighting with donors about the cause.
But if he could have been a substantial roadblock to the Iraq war, or Iran war rather, if he was a substantial roadblock, I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility that a nation state would take a guy like that out.
They didn't take out Fuentes. They didn't take out Owens. They didn't take out Ian Carroll. They didn't take out any of these other huge personalities who were roadblocks to the way.
I think Charlie was very different. Carroll, or excuse me, Fuentes is more easy to dismiss because he said so many wild things, shit posting. He said so many crazy things that I think he is almost embodying in their eyes like the crazy anti-Semite. Whereas Charlie was not an anti-Semite, was much more reasonable. And if he was going against Israel, it could be a real problem. I also think that he had a tremendous amount of influence on the president. He had his ear, you know, I think the president respected him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The interesting part, though, if you look at the history there, Fuentes conducted his Graper War against TPUSA and Charlie Kirk because of the pro-Israel stance and because of his pro-homosexual stance, his like big tent Republicanism, they called it. Yeah. So they had the pro stances for these things. And what's interesting about all of it, if you follow the details of it up until Kirk's death, TPUSA actually moved a lot more towards the Groyper Fuentes position than they moved towards the kind of pro-Israel, this type of position, meaning a lot of the ideology that I think Kirk was changing on came from these various outside influences. And so if that's the case, why wouldn't you just curtail those outside influences and then you can keep Kirk as the mouthpiece, right?
What Andrew Wilson just said was dumb. It's dumb. First of all, let me just say this. Does anybody believe that Nick Fuentes, who up until recently didn't even have major platforms, anybody believe that Nick Fuentes, his influence could rival Charlie Kirk's? Now, I don't believe that President Trump would listen to Charlie Kirk when it came to things like war or, you know, geopolitics or economics. I don't believe he would. But yet he still has the ear of the president. So to think that Nick Fuentes could rival Charlie Kirk is insanity. To think that Candace Owens is a content creator / conspiracy theorist / contrarian. Nick Fuentes is branded as a racist anti-Semite. Like, these people, they're not moving the needle. They're not moving the needle. And if Andrew Wilson is suggesting that Charlie Kirk was being able to be influenced by Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, then why would they go after Nick Fuentes to ignite the Groypers? That don't make any sense. If they took out Nick Fuentes, that would start a Groyper, like, you'd make him a martyr. So we don't believe that Charlie Kirk was influenced by Nick Fuentes. We don't believe that Charlie Kirk was influenced by Candace Owens. We don't believe that Charlie Kirk was influenced by Tucker Carlson. I believe that Charlie Kirk recognized some things that he saw problems with. I honestly, genuinely think he saw things that were a problem in his eyes. I don't think Nick Fuentes or Candace Owens or anybody was influencing his decisions. So what Andrew Wilson is saying here is not very good. It's actually a dumb take. To take out Nick Fuentes would be stupid because Nick Fuentes ain't moving the needle. He's not making anybody vote a certain way. He's not doing anything. He's barely platformed. Neither is Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk had issues with Israel. And I mean, Israel is in the government and Israel is in liberal Jews in America, and how much they support all the destruction of the country with socialism and all this other nonsense, civil rights and all this other crazy stuff. So his concerns, I don't believe are influenced by Nick Fuentes or anybody else. I just think it's common sense to see. You have a group that is heavily tied to what the country is trying to fight against. The majority of Jews are liberal. They support this stuff. They support civil rights and trans this and LGBTQ and all. They support it. And so they are and he mentioned it being decoupled from that because it is a conflict of interest. On one hand, you're saying that you're our greatest ally, but on the other hand, you sleep in bed with the enemy. Which one is it? You can't be both. Can't have it both ways. You can't say Islam is bad, but civil rights is good. To this day, socialism, communism, Marxism, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, these things have been more destructive to America than Islam. That's a fact. LARPing for Cash says 79% of Jews voted for Kamala. Yeah, it makes sense. So again, Charlie Kirk's stance, and again, that isn't an anti-Israel stance. That's saying that this group of people that's saying they are our allies, it's a problem because they're supporting something that's destructive. So even if you squash Islam, let's say you eradicate Islam, you still got to deal with the left. The same people, the same entities that are being supported on the left by Jews are the same ones supporting radical Islam, the same groups. Do you think MLK would have been against Islam? Against it? No. Anyway, there's a bad take by Andrew Wilson. And this is my boy.
So I think that there's a pretty good counter to that idea. Now, you can't rule anything out as possibility, but it seems likely to me with how much trans have been shooting everything up for the last couple of years and how often it's the case that you find leftists involved in these signal groups and involved in these group chats and things like this for the purpose of radicalization. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if there was a left-wing conspiracy assisting Tyler Robinson and radicalizing Tyler Robinson. There's at least some evidence for that.
Tyler Robinson wasn't trans, though. Like, it would make more sense if his boyfriend did it, but Tyler Robinson isn't trans.
Based on the Discord groups, things like this that they were part of, I haven't actually seen a single piece of evidence that Israel was ever involved in this.
No, I haven't seen the evidence. I've seen a lot of speculation based on the text that Charlie made, the fact that he was so staunchly against the Iran war, and the fact that he did say that he was thinking about getting out of the Israel business, the pro-Israel business. But
now, keep in mind, everybody said that the text messages weren't real. And then when the text messages appeared, they just started moving the cheese again. So we have clear evidence of where Charlie Kirk stood prior to his death. So that's not even up for debate. It's just not. So again, if we're talking about a conspiracy theory, and what I just find so ironic is in 2020, the right was all about conspiracies. 2021, all about conspiracies. 2022, all about conspiracies. 2023, all about conspiracies. Joe Biden cheating in the last election was a conspiracy. Questioning COVID-19 was a conspiracy. These foreign governments shipping people over here to infiltrate America, conspiracy. I can go on and on about all the conspiracies that the right supported prior to 2025. And one thing I know about Jews is that Jews do not like conspiracy theories. They don't. And there's a reason why. because conspiracy theories mean everything's up for question. That means who they actually are and the Holocaust. That's why they don't like conspiracy theories. They stay away from them. They keep it very surface level. Understandably so. But the right was all about conspiracy theories, and now take everything at face value. Fauci is pleading the fifth, and it's not a possibility that maybe Tyler Robinson didn't do it. They got on TV and said, if you have COVID at the time of death, we're going to mark it as a COVID death, even if you die from something else. The ventilators had a 98% mortality rate. It was a fact that the hospitals were getting paid for positive tests, and they were getting paid for treating COVID. So they were incentivized to get a positive test and do treatments. But you want me to think that it's impossible for Tyler Robinson to not be the person that did it. They were opening up the vaccine packets, no ingredients. What are the contents? Nobody knew. Show me somebody before they took it that read something of what was in it. Why wouldn't you give people the list of what's in it? It's so important. Got nothing to hide. You can go buy a bag of chips and look on the back, they got all the ingredients. They don't hide what's in those chips. So why, when it came to the shots, it wasn't nothing there? You wouldn't even buy, people wouldn't even buy food with no ingredients on the back. You wouldn't even buy it. But 6 billion people put some in their body. Let's make it make sense. So it's just so far-fetched for Tyler Robinson to not be the person. That's far-fetched. Keep in mind, 9/11, conspiracy. JFK assassination, conspiracy. Malcolm X assassination, conspiracy. MLK's assassination, conspiracy. This is par for the course. Why now in 2026 are we anti-conspiracy theory? Shanda said, I think Farrell took the vaccine. Yeah, he probably did. Probably did. Let's continue.
In this climate, Israel gets blamed for a lot of things. Do you think there's any possibility that if someone else killed him? Do you think there's any possibility that he was assassinated by Israel?
It seems likely to me with how much trans have been shooting everything up for the last couple of years.
And listen, I don't, believe you should just be blaming anybody for anything. I'm just saying that to not question something is crazy. We should, after 2020, anybody not questioning, you working for the devil. They pulled the biggest psyop in human history. If you're not questioning, I think you're working with Satan. I truly do.
It to JFK though. Did they? If you'd like me to break down the Zapruder film sometime, we can, but the question is, did they? I'm not going to make any claims, but when you watch the Zapruder film, could it be that that's a mannequin? Could it be that Zapruder made that? He's an Israeli national 8 years after the event. When people think that they watched John F. Kennedy get shot, you realize they didn't, right? It was on the radio. It was not televised. It was televised 8 years later with the Zapruder film. When you look at this,
let me ask y'all a question. Now, everybody thought that people watched the JFK assassination live. Think about it. I talk to people and they say, yeah, I saw the planes crash into the buildings. I say, did you really? Did you actually look up and see those planes go into that building? You see, people see things and they notice the powers that be notice. If they show it to you enough, it becomes your reality. It's just psychological programming one-on-one. So imagine all these people thinking they saw JFK assassinated. All these people thinking they saw those planes go into the building. Conveniently, there was a camera set up that happened to be facing Times Square. They happened to be facing the towers, perfectly focused and ready to shoot. Then the lady got caught on camera. The people that dance, they call it dancing Israelis. They got them celebrating when the towers and when the buildings are burning. Those guys actually happen to be working for the Israeli government. It's all factual information. Am I saying they did it? I'm not saying they did it. But to say that they could have did it isn't far-fetched. Like it's like to think that Tyler Robinson didn't do it isn't some off-the-wall thought. It's just not. We live in a conspiracy theory age because we are in the information age. Most of what we knew about just think about Black history and how much of it wasn't real. Think about Black history and how much of it isn't real. People have written books about it. People were taught this in school. This is a part of American culture, and 99% of it is false. And you're asking, why are people questioning who actually killed Charlie Kirk? As if their main reason is just to be anti-Semitic. That's crazy. That's crazy. When I was a kid, Pluto was a planet. Not anymore. When I was a kid, Pluto was a planet. Not anymore.
Zapruder film, could it be that it's a dummy, and that if you do an analysis of the people in the crowd, the sizes are totally off? It's 100%. Could it be that the Zapruder film is 100% fake? So what happened to JFK? I don't know. You don't know. None of us know. Oh, it's Jimmy Carter. I don't believe that. But you have no idea. You have no idea. I don't know. You don't know. No one knows. It's goddamn theater. All I know is no one watched it on television. And all these people that think they did are the same people who think they watched a plane hit the Pentagon. I was there, Big Bear. I saw the...
Listen, I did not watch this, y'all. I watched the first part of this. I didn't watch it. I've been watching this stuff with y'all. I just talked about I did not watch this, and I just talked about 9/11 because I've talked to people that said they saw it, and I questioned if they really saw it.
Wait, no, you didn't. Oh, could it be that you didn't? I don't know what happened to him. Could he have ended up just being a gay guy somewhere with his buddy Lem after the false assassination? People can't comprehend that he may not have actually died in that presentation of an assassination. I don't care. I don't know. They could have blown his brains out and wanted to make a film later to cement the narrative. I don't know, and I don't fucking care.
I remember when I showed y'all the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt and how fake it was? This guy walked right up. Now, Ronald Reagan is surrounded by Secret Service, and this guy walked right up on him. Remember that video? Ronald Reagan is surrounded by Secret Service everywhere, and this guy just walks right up to him. Come on, y'all. Listen, man, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I was born last night, but I wasn't born. No, I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I want to see if this matters to y'all. Where's my... Oh, shoot, I think my... Oh, man, I think my mouse is dead. How can I move? I think my mouse is dead, y'all. Dang it. Oh, man. Y'all know how to move this thing without a mouse? Do I have a backup mouse? Oh, it was muted the whole time? Yeah, I think it needs a charge, y'all. I think it needs a charge. Let me just go to another video. I have a mouse, though.
Oh, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, only for the purposes of trying to explain to you that I have some intricate knowledge in some of the things that Woodcoff has lied about, chiefly his book, The Masons and Their Lies. I was a Freemason, Master Mason. I don't remember exactly how many years. I think 3 or 4 years. Okay, I still have all of my dues cards. I still have the Lodge Bible that was dedicated to me by everybody in the lodge. Okay, I was a Freemason myself.
How do you all feel about that? I don't think it matters, honestly. I really don't. I think a lot of the Freemason stuff is overhyped. But How do y'all feel about that? Because people are bringing this up to say he's an op because he's a Freemason, but I don't think it's a big deal. Annalisa said, I think once a Freemason, always a Freemason. LARPing for Cash said something earlier about something to take. I meant to. Oh, Chris said, yo, Blanche, you killed me on that Tommy show tonight. You got to start clipping your stuff. That Tom Brady correction was epic. You know what? I'm going to clip it then. I'm going to clip it. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Can you type it again? Okay, here it goes. You could buy quercetin to fight a virus like that and others. It is used for many things. I guess this product is quercetin. I don't know if it's on the same line as ivermectin and was it hydrochloroquine? Anna Valisa said they're all Masons. Bobby Vicash said shady. Stimulated Sue said the same way I feel about Tucker saying he didn't know his dad was CIA. Right. That was crazy. That was crazy. Even if you didn't know your dad was CIA, you would have knew after he passed, though. I mean, somebody knew. Like somebody would have told you. That's a lot of money, though, y'all. $300,000.
Candace Owens offered her $300,000 to do a debate.
Debate me, Candace. Candace, look at me, Candace. I'm like, ew. Like the sissy culture of men online saying, and there's something also just extraordinarily like gay, like 90s gay about like men that do that full time online. And she's like, I'm like, stop. Like, stop being a woman. Like, let us do that. When men podcast, they can't podcast like women.
Presidential debate is two people looking to become president. So it makes sense. So I'm going to take the podium and I'm going to talk to the audience. See, I'm not talking to the other person doing an actual debate. I'm letting the audience know, hey, I'm the better candidate than this person. And here's what I'm going to do. If you, the audience, gives me your vote, I'm going to do this, and this better than that person over there. That is what an actual debate is. But these weirdos, they want to get online and say, well, the way you think is wrong and the way I think is right. That is gay. Why do you care? So what Candace is saying right here is 100% correct. It is gay.
Yeah, I'm going to be real with you. I don't think debating a woman is just for what? I just don't see the purpose of it because I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think that he's gay for debating her. I just think that Andrew Wilson is motivated by someone else to do it. Because I know, listen, he may have some money. I believe he has some money, but he ain't got no money to lose $300,000 on a debate against Candace. Like, that's insane. 300 racks, $300,000 cash to debate somebody, and you telling the world, you telling the IRS, you're telling the IRS that I'm about to make $300,000. Come on, that's foolish. Simulated student said, I'm not dropping 300 stacks to argue with a woman. Facts. Quercetin is made from plants It's used like an antibiotic, anti-parasitic, but your body cannot get immune to it like other antibiotics. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Andrew Wilson was put up to this. I feel like he was paid to do it. I feel like he doesn't have 300 racks to debate Candace. I feel like he got funded by probably Turning Point. And the goal of Turning Point is just to make Candace Owens look stupid. That's all. I mean, that's the whole goal, is just to make her look. And to keep in mind, Candace Owens is a content creator. Like, she just, listen, these people are trying to make these folks larger than life. These people are just content creators. That's all they are. There are people that have an opinion with a microphone and a set. That's it. They're not politicians. They don't hold any kind of office in the city or local government. Like, these people are just content creators. Larping Vicash said it encapsulates the RNA of the virus into like a bubble and keep them from replicating. Okay. I'm gonna check it out. It's good to know. JV Chanel said it's less about finding truth and more about entertainment. Facts. The Stoke division said there's no such thing as a black conservative woman. Facts. There is no such thing as a black conservative woman. Facts. And guess what? It doesn't have to be 100% for it to be true. If 10 people jump off of a building and 9 of them die, I'm going to just go ahead and say you'll die if you jump off a building. It ain't got to be 100%. So even if it's 1% that are conservative, it ain't the norm. There's no such thing as a black woman that's conservative. The percentage is so small to where you shouldn't even mention it. Listen, in America, I would argue that most women, period, are not conservative. Forget black women. Most women in America, period, are not conservative. I'm going to check it out, Lobbying for Cash. Let me try to go to...
Though, in this particular conspiracy, you can't get these people to debate their positions.
Like, who won't debate their positions?
We offered Candace Owens, I offered her $300,000 to do a debate. I was like, we'll give you $300,000.
What is her position? What does she think happened?
She thinks that Israel worked in conjunction with TPUSA and erikakirk to murder Charlie.
Based on what?
Has anybody, and I've been asking for this video, can someone show me the video where Candace Owens said that erikakirk was responsible? Can someone point me to that video? I want to see the video where Candace Owens says that erikakirk was responsible or working in cahoots to get Charlie Kirk assassinated. Janan TV said there are several. I will have to send it later. Please do. Please do. Because I definitely want to see it. I got to see it.
Well, that's the million-dollar question. Nobody actually knows. She's never presented a single shred of evidence thus far that Israel ever worked to murder Kirk, that erikakirk certainly didn't. In fact, her position for the longest time was if erikakirk comes out and tells me to stop this, to stop the conspiracy on this, I will. So Erika did. She went out publicly and she was like, enough, like enough.
I watched that video, and erikakirk did not specifically tell Candace Owens to stop. Candace Owens is not the only person online talking about erikakirk. There are a lot of people who do a lot better than she does it. There are a lot more people that are a lot more credible talking about this whole thing. So erikakirk did. I saw that video myself. She did not specify Candace Owens. She spoke to everybody that was talking. She made a general statement. That's not true, Andrew.
You're just causing more problems than good here as this investigation's going on. And then suddenly.
Now, what I find interesting is the claim that you're going to ruin the investigation as if y'all had that same energy for any case. I reported on Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. Nobody said, be quiet, Blanche, you're going to mess the case up. I reported on Diddy and Cassie. Nobody said, Blanche, be quiet, you're going to mess the case up. I talked about several cases. No one ever told me I was going to mess the case up. But when it comes to this case, somebody going to mess it up. How could they mess it up? How? It's a high-profile case. How could they mess it up? Simulated Student said she has never outright said anything of the sort. If she did it, it would have been everywhere and she would have been sued. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, because people say it, but I haven't seen the clips. I'm like, if she did say it, these clips would have been everywhere. They'd be easy to find. For example, when Trump said, find people, there are 5 people on both sides, that clip is viral, out of context. Like they still say it to this day. They still use that clip to this day. And it's totally out of context and just a lie. But I would think that if she actually pinpointed erikakirk, she would get sued for defamation of character. Erikakirk is the one that said Tyler Robinson was guilty when she said, I'm going to pray for him. She the one that said that. She said, I forgive him. She's the one that said that. The one person that actually came out and said something about this case that could be damning, because before he was on trial, was her saying, I forgive him, as if he was guilty. Before there was an investigation, I forgive him. We ain't been to trial yet. Did you email me at He Is Blanchard? Let me see. Because I definitely I'm going to play it. Could you please send it to heisblanchard@gmail.com? Please. Let me put it in the chat.
Erica's now part of the conspiracy. By the next day, she's trying to cover it up. She's part of the conspiracy too. When I went to the TPUSA HQ and I talked to Erica briefly while I was there, the first thing I did was what I think every normal, moral human being would ever do. I gave her a hug.
Well, let me say this too. Erica trying to cover it up doesn't mean that she was a part of the assassination. I mean, that could be something hindsight. Like, she could have not known nothing and they said, listen, you better cover it up. I mean, like, that doesn't mean she was a part of it though. Like, that's not the same thing as her saying that, like you saying that somebody was involved in it and somebody tried to cover it up is two different things. Because I cannot be involved but still try to cover it up. That's very possible. They come to me and say, listen, we need to make this go away. Hey, Blanche, make this go away. Like, so that doesn't mean she was a part of it. I don't know. Brandon says, Candace was tardy to the Erica expose. She was actually admonishing people for being suspicious of Erica at first. Okay, I'm going to play it after I play this video right here. Thank you, Janah.
I think every normal, moral human being would ever do. I gave her a hug. And I told her how god-awful sorry I was that happened to her. Like, could you even imagine how that's got to feel for her? Especially now that she has tens of thousands of people accusing her of murdering and conspiring to murder and then cover up what happened to her own. I mean, that's like mind-boggling psychological torture on a level that I've never seen.
Yeah, and hindsight is 20/20, but given the reaction, I think it probably would have been better for her to like lay low for a little while.
1000%.
The going out with the sparklers was not a great idea. Like, all that was not a great idea because it just seemed insane. And
I'm glad Joe Rogan is honest. He used the right word. People didn't think anything about erikakirk until she went on tour. People keep forgetting that. Nobody jumped out and said erikakirk's name. They only started saying stuff again when she did the crying over the rubber hands video. That was the start of it. Then coming out like WWE with sparklers, like, dude, and then they did the crying with no tears falling, wiping, there was a lot of stuff. She gave the public ammunition. Nobody was picking on erikakirk. She gave the public ammunition. She made it look suspicious. You can't get mad at folks because you look crazy. Janan TV says she has made $600K a month off this Charlie Kirk stuff. $600K a month. Simulated Student said she shouldn't have dropped that weird video of her crying over his body. This is what's crazy, right? People would always condemn people for making a video and crying. That was normal to make fun of people doing that. But when she did it, everybody was like, oh, feel sorry. I'm like, what do y'all know? She bought this on herself. She bought this on herself. And guess what? She's still on tour. When has she had time to grieve? When has she had time to grieve? There are people that have PTSD from seeing somebody get shot and killed. A normal person. There are folks that have PTSD from shooting somebody. Like, do you know the psychological trauma that goes on a person watching their loved one die in public? Although we have questions on how he died. But when did you grieve? Like, when did you get a chance to sit down? Like, why would you even want to be in public? Why would you want to do like? I don't know, man. It's just, it's foolish. It's foolish. Not saying that Erikakirk is innocent, but Candace isn't trying to find the truth. It's a money grab. Of course. Like, listen, of course Candace Owens in it for the money. Like, she could care less about any of this stuff. She after that bag. So there in no way, shape, or form am I saying Candace Owens is taking any kind of moral high ground in this, because she's not. She is an opportunist. That's just all she is. And wherever she can make the money, she gonna make the money. That's just it, and that's all. Matter of fact, I would honestly say that her and Erikakirk are much more alike than they aren't. If I can be honest, they are much more alike than they aren't. They are two peas in a pod, Erika and Candace.
Maybe sometimes in grief, or when you're trying to show that they're not going to hold us back, people make choices that could be interpreted in a very bad way.
100%. The interesting thing is, I asked her about that. I asked her, like, what's the deal there?
What's with the sparklers?
Well, what's with the aberration in behavior? And she's like, look, I was put in like the worst spot I could ever think of. I was the background character. I was just there to support my husband. That's it. The only reason I even really got involved is because Charlie was so pro-marriage, and he wanted to demonstrate to the world you can be married and have kids.
Nothing. Listen, okay, I'm gonna let it play.
This is the good life. So when he dies, she takes over, right? This moves over to her control. She says, well, the first thing I want to do is honor his last book. That's the very first thing I want to do. I want to honor his legacy. And she's like, I don't know exactly how to take this position. At the same time, there's expectations for the organization my husband built that I want to honor, right? But, I'm also in the middle of grief. And it's like, I don't know how you balance that position. Who's been in that position ever?
I know how you balance it. You go sit down. I know how you balance it. You don't make it an issue. You go sit down. You go sit down. Because nobody believes that Erikakirk doesn't want to be in the spotlight. Nothing about her past suggests that. Nothing about what she's doing now suggests that. Erikakirk wants to be in the spotlight. Make no mistake about it. Folks that don't want to be in the spotlight aren't in the spotlight. So the position that she is, she needs to go sit down and tend to them children. Go sit down. If you are grieved, you don't know what to do, the Bible tells us be still. If you don't know what to do, and you're confused, you're grieving, you got to do this, go sit down. Delegate somebody to handle the book. Delegate somebody to speak. Delegate. You don't need sparklers. Delegate. And I forgive him. You don't want to be a bad actress. Just go sit down somewhere. Go sit down. Joe couldn't get an answer on the sparklers because you can't defend it. Now, women, their first instinct is to lie. So Andrew Wilson asking Erikakirk a question, I don't believe she would tell the truth if it was something simple. What'd you have for breakfast? Oh, I'm fasting, intermittent fasting today. Like, I don't believe her anyway. Women lie, especially women that got something to lie about. So this notion that she just helpless and don't know what to do, nah, I'm not going with that. I ain't going with that. If you're that distraught, ma'am, sit down. Go sit down.
Right. And especially who's been in that position that's not accustomed to being scrutinized in the public eye.
Everything. And it's the lack of charitability that's so bad too. Like, let me give you an example. If you say, Paul's so lazy, he never gets to work on time. You don't actually mean Paul has never once gotten to work on time. That's not
Right.
what people mean.
Right.
But the way that these people will scrutinize every detail of what a person does, they can make a liar out of anybody, because that they'll take statements like that, which in the common terms, if you say, oh, man, Paul's never here on time, you don't literally mean he's never here on time. Nobody talks that way.
But the problem is that Paul is late. Whether he's late half of the time, whether he's late some of the time, the issue is Paul is late. So because Paul is late, you give people, right, the right to say Paul's always late. So again, Erikakirk put herself out there to be scrutinized. Charlie Kirk ran Turning Point USA and he was scrutinized. That's what comes with the position. President Trump is scrutinized. That's what comes with the position. I get scrutinized. That's what comes with the position. So to think that you're going to come behind Charlie Kirk acting weird and not have anybody say anything is insanity. To even think, woman, you are coming out on stage with 15 gold rings on. What are we talking about? The whole get up looks crazy. The whole get up is crazy. And I ain't saying Erikakirk did it. Y'all ain't never heard me say that. I'm saying that her scrutiny, her being scrutinized, is justified. It's justified. You come out, Michael Jackson, who everybody loved, scrutinized. Ben Carson, scrutinized. Ben Crump, not scrutinized. Clarence Thomas, scrutinized. So we know these high positions come with scrutiny. And they come with more scrutiny when you're being weird. So if you are a grieving widow, I think it would behoove you, widow that's grieving, to go sit down and grieve. Because all she's doing is promoting feminism. That's all she's doing. My husband can get shot on TV and I can still boss up and be a boss chick. That's all she's doing. I guarantee there's been a rise in right-wing female content creators since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Candace Owens puts off the same message. Boss chick, I'm married, but I'm a boss chick. I'm Candace Owens. I'm still keeping my same name. I'm keeping my maiden name. That's why I said they're two peas in a pod.
But if you push on everything a person's ever said, tongue-in-cheek, not tongue-in-cheek, they misremember an event, they don't misremember an event, you can make a liar out of anybody.
Right. Yeah.
And that sort of scrutiny from all that public trauma, and it was the most traumatic event Zoomers have ever gone through. The biggest, I mean, a public assassination like this, same thing with millennials.
It also exposed people's character that they were celebrating it.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to feel bad about that. They can't feel good about that. And they have to feel bad about the response because so many people got fired because of it. And so many people.
Again, what makes you believe that you are not going to get scrutinized and they are celebrating your husband's death? We are in an information age. Everything is ran through with a fine-tooth comb. Everything. There are going to be conspiracy theories. This is par for the course here on out. Anything that comes out, conspiracy theory. Everybody was talking about Diddy. until Cassie took the stand. Everybody was talking about Diddy until Cassie took the stand. Now, I was the bad guy when I said Cassie wasn't a victim. I said because you can't be a victim and cash a check. You can't be a victim and live a lavish lifestyle. That's not how that works. Because you can choose to separate yourself and not be a victim. But when Cassie got on that stand, she said what really happened. I set him up. I participated. I enjoyed it. Everybody talking about Diddy, but it was Cassie. Andrew Wilson pointed out, too, that he debated what he calls TPSUA femcoms. That's what erikakirk is, though. That's what she is. She's a feminist conservative. Go sit down.
Got attacked online, and rightly so.
But they were
It's just a
desecrating his
cruel-
memorial, and leftists were celebrating that. They were saying they were going to give the guy money who did it.
Yeah.
Now, Andrew Wilson said on some of the terms that, let me see. I got a video, y'all. I got the video, y'all. Let me pull it up. Let me share the screen. I remember that song by Yoda the Great. I think he's in prison for life. I think he ended up killing his cousin, I think. He was in prison and got out and killed his cousin. He's from some apartments over there used to be called Allen Temple over off MLK. Let's see. Here we go. Yes, I've been waiting for y'all.
Should be dragged into a police precinct. The amount of evidence that is now piling up against erikakirk. I've seen enough. erikakirk should be dragged into a police precinct. The assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of. Turning Point USA for erikakirk, and what I think is fair to refer to as their federal accomplices. Anyways, back at headquarters, I am told it's business as usual, and it's kind of giving me like, I don't know, LBJ when he gets sworn in that famous picture. Unfortunately, sworn in. Unfortunately, of course, he's sad in this photo. Gosh, he's obviously not wanting to be the president of the United States. JFK was shot and killed, and now LBJ has to step up, unfortunately. But I gotta be honest, I wasn't there. I don't think LBJ was actually that upset. JFK, right? Knowing, as I do, and as Charlie did believe that LBJ was involved, which then implicates the feds, because she loved Charlie. She loved him like Lyndon Baines Johnson loved JFK. No time to grieve. She needed to be sworn in as the new leader before his body was even cold. She's a grieving widow. And she's forced to assume his role and reverse everything that he did, like LBJ did after JFK's death. Malevolence. I continue to underscore what Elizabeth Lane, the reporter, stated in her post, that in her opinion, erikakirk exhibits the attributes of a psychopath. That erikakirk might be a psychopath. erikakirk is a psychopath. A psychopath is the best answer that I can come up with. My assessment that she's a psychopath. erikakirk, and to continue to pretend that anything she has done is normal, to pretend and act like she is a grieving widow when she is anything but, She plots behind the scenes. She sends people to fall on the sword for her. She's more akin to Cersei Lannister. This woman was not actually a grieving widow. She wasn't a grieving widow. That actually, one could argue that she may have even been a psychopath for doing this, being able to do this after she killed her husband. Do you know how they built that case? People who actually cared about Eric and offered various details, and to the point that, well, none of these points and various details about how Erica is grieving would ever survive in the court of law. Ironically, in this case against Corey Richins, for which she was ultimately found guilty, the prosecutors played the 911 call and said explicitly that it didn't sound like a grieving widow.
The first minute is not the sound of a wife becoming a widow. To echo her friend Chelsea Barney, the first minute is the sound of a wife becoming a Black widow.
She's not grieving right. She sounds like she's become a Black widow, not a widow. And to refuse some foregone conclusion that spouses simply would never have a hand in the murder of one another, which actually flies in the face of reality. Something is off. People who were willing to stand up and do what you guys describe as immoral or evil and demanding a further investigation when nothing makes sense. And so what I would say is, here is what I know. Grieving widows do not lie about threats that their husbands were facing the night before their deaths. They don't lie about that stuff. Grieving widows do not make up quotations that the surgeon never said about a Superman neck to manage PR, least of all on the day that they're burying their husbands. That right there is why it is impossible for me to think that Erikakirk is not complicit somehow. That is her being coached and sent to delude the public into believing that there was more and it wasn't so clear cut when she knew that it wasn't. Evil. That's evil. Hunter showed more emotion in an hour and a half talking about crack than Erica has in 8 months. Yeah, I saw a lot of comments like that, that it's crazy that you're seeing more emotion and character out of Hunter Biden than you are seeing from the wife of the Black widow, the CEO. I think Erica is calculated. And I want to say to JD Vance, you better wake up fast, okay? That's a Black widow, my friend. She's not grieving right. She sounds like she's become a Black widow, not a widow. The Black widow, that's a Black widow, my friend. You will get bit.
Okay, what do y'all think? I'll give my opinion. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? What do y'all think? I'll give my opinion, but what do y'all think? Oh. Yo. Oh. I think it's a mess. I'm like, oh my goodness. I think whoever sent you this is reaching like Mr. Fantastic and Michael Jordan on Iverson. So I'll say this, right? I'll say this. I think that what she's talking about is Erikakirk seizing the opportunity, because the examples that I think she may be saying both, because she gave examples of the woman that I guess killed her husband in actual, then LBJ. LBJ probably wasn't complicit in JFK assassination, but he also wasn't grieved in taking a position and being president again either. So she called Erikakirk a psychopath, and I'm like, I feel like she's one too, though. I feel like they both psychopaths. Like, again, I think they two peas in the same pod. But she implied a few things, that either she knew about it, she was a part of it, or she wasn't upset that it happened to get the position. So we can surmise all three things: that she accused her, she said that it's possible that, you know, she knew or that she's happy it happened. So yeah. Right, Pamela. It's just whoever made this video did a excellent editing job. I mean, it was hilarious. It was actually hilarious. I don't watch Candace Owens, so I don't know, but I've been asking for this video, and this video will suffice because she's essentially saying that she either knew about it, participated in it, or happy it happened. Neither of the three are good, but I would charge this up to a accusation on those three things. Somebody that Sue says she didn't say anything. Let's listen again. Let's see. I'll listen again. Let me listen again. I'll give one more listen.
Amount of evidence that is now piling up against Erikakirk. I've seen enough. Erikakirk should be dragged into a police precinct. The assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, you know what? Okay. So that first statement can be taken out of context because she could be saying she needs to be questioned, not that she actually did it, but that she needs to be questioned because of all the evidence. And because she's acting like there's no evidence to the contrary of what's being said, she needs to be questioned by the authorities. So that right there doesn't mean she's saying she should be dragged in there because of that she did it. So I believe that's taken out of context. So I'll give that first one a pass for being out of context, but let's go to the rest of them. And keep in mind, I'm not a Candace Owens apologist at all. At all. But let's continue. Some of the students said all of it can be taken out of context. It was chopped and edited. That is true. It is true. It is true. It's true. So we'll listen to it next show. We'll do it again next show. But I just think the correlation she made with, like, again, I felt like she's making a correlation with the woman that actually killed her husband and his family questioning that, and also LBJ being happy that he was president again. She gave kind of two scenarios that she alluded to with those two examples, but we'll listen again. But you are right. It was chopped up and edited. It was hilarious, though. I mean, whoever did it, it's hilarious. But you are right that the accusation needs to be made in full context of what's being said in its entirety. So you're right. It's not fair to give a clip. I need to listen to a whole. I don't watch a show, so I don't see myself sitting down for an hour and just watch. Can somebody give me a show? That'd be better. Can somebody just give me a show to watch? Because I don't watch her content. But as far as entertainment, it was pure entertainment. But we'll listen to it again next time. But I will say this, and I'm going to do a part two of this because I got to go. But I'm going to say this, right? This is really about the truth. This really isn't about Erikakirk or Candace Owens. This is about, us getting down to the truth. But to question the narrative that we've been fed, to question it, in my opinion, is reasonable. And I want to play a video. Jay Slay said that was taken out of context. She was talking about Erica's friend having a so-called bad feeling and not letting her daughter go on the trip. She said they both needed to be questioned. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to get stuff in context. So, I mean, you're right. We got to get, you all are correct. We have to get something in context because a mashed up video doesn't really tell us anything. Do you all think that he's really gone? If he isn't gone, it wouldn't shock me. I question how he was. I question who killed him. I question how he was killed, and I question whether he was killed. They paved over the scene. Like it's just too much stuff. But I want to play Black Widow. Listen, Black Widow means you kill your mate. That's what it comes. Black Widow means that you killed your mate. That's what that means. That's what that means. So a Black Widow, once the male spider mates with a Black Widow, she eats him. So that's clear. The Black Widow analogy is clear. Like I said, she gave an example of the woman that killed her husband and LBJ. She gave 2 examples. I wanted to play one more video, and this video was dang, where's the video? I didn't add it. I didn't add the video. What?
Currently stands, they want us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home and then.
Now, I believe this is AI. I don't believe this is Candace Owens because I don't think she can keep. I believe this might be AI right here, but I'm going to just play it though.
At home and then us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home and then woke himself up before 4 a.m. on September 10th of 2025 because he had to leave his house in St. George before 4 a.m. to make it up to campus when they then catch him on walking by the neighbor's house at 8:07 a.m. That's that TMZ released footage. 8:07 a.m. Gets back in his car, pulls into the garage, finds the surveillance cameras in the garage, en route to go approach a Turning Point employee. It's like, I'm going to wear my favorite shirt to approach a Turning Point employee because I intend to kill their boss. He said, apparently, hey, is this where the Charlie Kirk event is going to be? And she probably was like, yeah.
Hold on one second because something is. Yeah, something is. Okay, sorry about that, you all. I guess it glitched or something, man. Let me just go to this video real quick and we'll be done.
Stands, they want us to believe that Tyler Robinson slept at home and then woke himself up before 4 a.m. on September 10th of 2025 because he had to leave his house in St. George before 4 a.m. to make it up to campus when they then catch him on walking by the neighbor's house at 8:07 a.m. That's that TMZ released footage. 8:07 a.m. Gets back in his car, pulls into the garage, finds the surveillance cameras in the garage, en route to go approach a Turning Point employee. It's like, I'm going to wear my favorite shirt to approach a Turning Point employee because I intend to kill their boss. He said, apparently, hey, is this where the Charlie Kirk event is going to be? And she probably was like, yeah, it is. He then went to Chick-fil-A on campus. We haven't seen any footage from that yet. We haven't been told much about that. My assumption is he had a meal before he decided that it was time to do crime.
I'm gonna do this on the next show because I don't know why it's acting up right now. I don't know what's going on, but basically it's a timeline of, you know, those 24 hours. And, you know, I know he lived 4 hours away. So he drives 4 hours, and it's a timeline of all the events that have been confirmed. And it just doesn't make any sense, but we'll play it next time. I don't know why it's acting up though. But listen, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in today. Listen, I love y'all, and I'll see you all soon. I don't know if y'all are still here, but my stuff is crashing for some reason. But I will play this on the next time I go live, probably on Saturday. But listen, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all soon. Thank y'all. I don't know what's going on.